Many people are surely concerned about how Luo Feng will handle the dispute over Earth's ownership as his strength continues to soar, and what the ultimate fate will be for those who have opposed him. Today, let me reveal in advance his choices and analyze the deeper reasoning behind his decisions. As is well known, the first contest over Earth's ownership began with the arrival of Luo. At the time, Luo Feng had already successfully possessed the golden horned beast and, with Babata's assistance, purchased a large number of slaves, thereby easily dismantling Luo's scheme. At this stage, Luo Feng had not yet formed any deep enmity with the Nuolan Shan family. After all, in the universe, it's common for explorers to claim unowned planets or engage in the slave trade through legal means, as it is all part of the universal law of survival of the fittest and not driven by personal grievances. Even if Luo Feng killed Luo, it was an act of self-defense for his home planet and therefore entirely justified. Luo, as an invader, had only himself to blame for being too weak to succeed, thus, the Nuolan Shan family had no reason to hold a grudge. What truly turned Nuolan Shan into Luo Feng's sworn enemy was their underhanded behavior. Nuolan Shan not only secretly sent Pu La to act recklessly but also ordered him to kill Luo Feng outright, hoping to render Earth ownerless again and profit from the chaos. After several failed attempts, Nuolan Shan even colluded with Brolin to set a death trap within the inner world, aiming to eliminate Luo Feng completely. More than that, Nuolan Shan's schemes endangered Luo Feng's friends and family and ultimately led to the tragic death of his sworn brother, Tai Nenhe. All of this ignited Luo Feng's murderous resolve and made him view Nuolan Shan as an enemy who could not be allowed to live. Had Nuolan Shan not fled with his family and escaped to the extraterritorial battlefield in time, by the point Luo Feng became a core member of the Virtual Universe Company, with access to resources and connections, he could have easily commissioned a powerhouse to crush Nuolan Shan's territory and kill him personally. However, Nuolan Shan chose to enlist in the human race's military as a warrior and hide in the perilous extraterritorial battlefield. On the surface, this seemed like throwing himself into danger, but in fact, it was his only chance to survive. Under military law, any form of personal revenge is strictly forbidden. On the battlefield, even if one holds personal grudges, humans are absolutely prohibited from killing one another. Violators face the death penalty. Hiring alien powerhouses is even more unthinkable, as it would constitute treason and result in immediate execution. Therefore, as long as Nuolan Shan could survive each battle and earn military merits to build wealth and seek stronger backers, he might temporarily avoid Luo Feng's wrath. Though living in humiliation, he could still cling to life amid chaos. Yet, he never imagined that Luo Feng's cultivation talent would far surpass the norm. Luo Feng took only about 4,000 years to reach World Master Level 9, whereas Nuolan Shan spent over 80,000 years just to reach the Universe level. As a core World Master of the Virtual Universe Company, Luo Feng was also required to face life and death trials and step onto the extraterritorial battlefield. Because of this, fate arranged a renewed clash between him and Nuolan Shan on the battlefield. Although Nuolan Shan was protected by military law and Luo Feng couldn't act overtly, he underestimated the destructive power that battles between elites could unleash. While the battlefield had unwritten rules where powerhouses fought powerhouses, and the weak faced the weak, if one didn't deliberately defend and subtly guided the enemy's attacks in a specific direction, the aftermath of a strong attack could easily obliterate others. Luo Feng used this principle, leveraging enemy attacks to accidentally engulf Nuolan Shan, reducing him to dust in an instant, annihilating both body and soul on the spot. Such accidents do not violate military law. After all, the battlefield is filled with unpredictable dangers, and the military system cannot determine intent. It's worth noting that Nuolan Shan was only a World Master Level 3 when he died, whereas Luo Feng could already kill low-tier World Masters back when he was only a peak Domain Master. With this widening gap, even if Nuolan Shan had managed to survive to the present, he would no longer be Luo Feng's match. Now, you may wonder, will Luo Feng also take revenge on Brolin? The answer is no. That's because there was never any true personal hatred between Luo Feng and Brolin. At most, they were enemies on the battlefield. All grievances arose from war, not private animosity. The spark that lit this conflict was the inheritance crystal ball of World Master Kabu. Whether it was the Three-Axe Mountain, 100 Tigers Building, or Royal Martial Squad, all these forces erupted into conflict due to their respective world masters competing for a chance at inheritance, ultimately escalating into war. During the password hunt, Luo Feng was ambushed multiple times, but in self-defense, he also killed many enemies. Only after the world masters reached a compromise did the war cease. In such circumstances, there is no clear right or wrong but only opposing sides. Later, although Hargreaves and Brolin abused their power during the Earth ownership dispute, trying to gift the Milky Way as a reward and strip Luo Feng of his lordship, they did not, like Nualan Shan, secretly send assassins to kill Luo Feng. Therefore, though such actions were detestable, they did not amount to a mortal grudge, but at most, they were examples of corruption. While Luo Feng deeply disliked Brolin, he had no justified reason to launch a crusade. Even if he eventually rose high enough that a single word from him could decide Brolin's fate without question, Luo Feng disdained such methods. The reason is simple. Though he despised Brolin, they shared no deep personal hatred. By that time, Brolin would likely be at the end of her lifespan, or even already dead. Given her cultivation talent, her chances of advancing to Domain Master were slim. This can be seen from two things. First, truly gifted royal bloodlines generally participate in top-tier talent competitions held by the Virtual Universe Company or the Huge Axe Dojo, just like Wuka from the Qianwu Universe country's royal family. The Black Dragon Mountain Empire is merely a mid-tier civilization. If Brolin truly possessed talent, how could she have given up such an opportunity? Secondly, among the royal family of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire, there is only one immortal, and his strength does not match that of Huyan Bo. Their resources are extremely limited. If Brolin were truly talented, she would have been groomed with great attention and granted a higher status, rather than having to rely on Hargreaves for everything. If Brolin ultimately remains at the universe level, her lifespan would be at most around 100,000 years. By the time Luo Feng reaches the peak, she would already have died of old age. Even if she were lucky enough to break through to the Domain Master level, Luo Feng, as a Universe Master, would hardly stoop to deal with a Domain Master. That would be nothing short of bullying the weak. Moreover, the conflict between the two never escalated to a life or death level. The second wave of contention over Earth's ownership stemmed from Hong's display of an unusually powerful state of mind. After investigating through time-space tracing, the founder of the Huge Axe Dojo discovered that any life born on Earth experienced a unique evolution of the soul, providing certain advantages in cultivation. If a powerful being were to have their descendants born on Earth, it would significantly increase the chances of them becoming strong. This discovery sparked widespread covetousness and became the root of the dispute. Are you curious whether Luo Feng, once powerful, would seek revenge against King Nightmare Candle? The answer is no. In fact, King Nightmare Candle had no personal grudge against Luo Feng. The true sworn enemy in his eyes was King Jinyan, while Luo Feng was merely an innocent party caught in the crossfire. Of course, if during the negotiation over Earth's ownership, King Nightmare Candle had resorted to unscrupulous methods that caused the death or injury of Luo Feng's family, friends, or fellow Earthlings, then Luo Feng might have sought revenge in the future. But in this case, Earth's side remained completely unharmed. On the contrary, it was King Nightmare Candle's faction that was severely punished by the timely arrival of King Jinyan and suffered a serious setback. Thus, although King Nightmare Candle's arrival brought a thrilling disturbance for Luo Feng himself was entirely unscathed, while the real cost was borne by King Nightmare Candle's side. After all, King Jinyan is an invincible king immortal level existence, capable of slaying even low-tier level king immortals without burning his divine body. If he had not held back, a full-force assault would have resulted in massive casualties on King Nightmare Candle's side. Even when restraining his strength, each of his strikes was enough to severely damage the essence of a king-level immortal. For any immortal powerhouse, once their essence is damaged, those of weaker strength would need hundreds of thousands to even millions of years to recover just by absorbing universe energy. If they wished to recover quickly, they would need to spend a vast amount of wealth and use universe energy-related treasures. This means that in the struggle for Earth's ownership, King Nightmare Candle's faction not only gained nothing but also paid a heavy price. This is simply a truly losing trade and not worth it at all. Perhaps, like me, you might also once hope the production team would script a scene where Luo Feng harshly punishes King Nightmare Candle. However, doing so would actually make Luo Feng seem petty. After all, King Nightmare Candle never actually harmed Luo Feng, and Luo Feng did not suffer any loss because of him. Moreover, King Nightmare Candle's father, Venerable Fire Erosion, had always been very kind to Luo Feng, as seen in the restraint he showed when releasing oppressive aura and the tone of their conversations. A powerhouse of Venerable Fire Erosion's caliber can precisely target someone when releasing oppressive aura. If he truly had malicious intent, a single release of his oppressive aura would be enough to shatter Luo Feng's consciousness or even kill him. But he didn't do that, clearly showing his goodwill. At the same time, Venerable Fire Erosion also handed down a severe punishment to King Nightmare Candle. In a universe ruled by the law of the strong, someone of King Nightmare Candle's status could very likely get away with just a reprimand even if he had killed Luo Feng, not face imprisonment in a Starfield prison for tens of millions of years. Yet this time, Venerable Fire Erosion personally sent him into that extremely harsh environment, and with a sentence of tens of millions of years, this was the greatest justice anyone could give Luo Feng. In fact, even a king-level immortal confined in such an environment for tens of millions of years is very likely to suffer a distorted mind and deranged temperament. If not for Venerable Fire Erosion securing him the privilege of accessing the virtual universe for 1 month every 100 years to vent his emotions, King Nightmare Candle would have already become twisted and mad. For a young powerhouse who has cultivated for less than 1,000 years, such a punishment is more than enough for Luo Feng to let go of his grievances. There is no reason for him to hold a grudge. No matter how much he despised King Nightmare Candle, he would still consider Venerable Fire Erosion's feelings and wouldn't hold a grudge anymore. Although the Universe Venerable's struggle for Earth's ownership came to a temporary halt due to the intervention of the Virtual Universe Company, what followed was the involvement of an even greater power. This force could be called the Han Alliance, or not. In truth, the Han Alliance is the supreme power among the human race, standing above the 5 great super-organizations. It gathers not only the most elite combat power of the human race but also many powerful individuals from subordinate races. The founders and strongest combatants of the 5 organizations are all members of the Han Alliance. Unlike the 5 major organizations, each driven by self-interest and internal power struggles, the Han Alliance acts from the standpoint of the entire human race, seeking to maximize the overall interests of humanity. Therefore, it was only natural that the Han Alliance stepped in regarding Earth's ownership. After all 5 organizations coveted Earth. Although it was the Virtual Universe Company that negotiated directly with Luo Feng, the decision ultimately reflected the will of the Han Alliance. Faced with this multi-sided power struggle, Luo Feng, despite his unwillingness, had to accept the reality given his current strength. Being able to co-own Earth with the Virtual Universe Company was already a rare outcome for him. Moreover, the terms offered by the Virtual Universe Company not only helped him rapidly improve his power but also promised not to interfere with the lives of native Earth humans and even to provide them with moderate cultivation support. In just 100,000 years, Earth's people had, on average, reached the planetary level, a stark contrast to the past when most couldn't cultivate at all. Though there were restrictive clauses, those allowed to reproduce on Earth were all of noble status, many being the offspring of universe masters. Backed by such heritage, they considered themselves superior, repeatedly flouting the rules, trespassing into native residential zones, openly teasing and humiliating Earth inhabitants, and even harassing, unlawfully detaining, or suppressing native returnees. Especially during the nearly 6,000 years when Luo Feng disappeared from the public eye to fuse with a powerful weapon, their actions became increasingly brazen, openly targeting the people of Earth without the slightest attempt to conceal it. Had Luo Hai not brought up the matter by chance, Luo Feng would have never known how disgraceful these so-called nobles had become. He immediately requested an order from the Primal Chaos City leader, strictly forbidding outsiders from entering native zones, and any violators would be killed on the spot. Though Luo Feng was still a world master at that time, his strength was already enough to defeat Pinnacle King immortals. He paid no heed to those stationed on Earth. If anyone dared provoke him, he had the absolute strength to erase them. However, as Luo Feng was in a period of rapid growth, he couldn't stay on Earth permanently. So, he established a twofold line of defense. First, he stationed a high-grade plant lifeform at the boundary of land and ocean, which is at the pinnacle of King Immortal level. In fact, the physical toughness of such plant life far exceeds that of humans. Even at the pinnacle of King Immortal, their combat power can suppress the human King Immortal limit. Furthermore, Luo Feng also left behind a soul servant at the King Immortal limit, equipped with a powerful weapon, as an additional safeguard. To those who dared cross boundaries and challenge Luo Feng's authority under the pretense of noble lineage, the plant lifeform showed no mercy, killing on sight. Both the plant and soul servant were absolutely loyal to Luo Feng, ready to die rather than betray him. With this setup, Luo Feng could leave Earth without worry, venturing into secret realms of the universe to focus entirely on sharpening his strength through training and exploration. As Luo Feng's power surged, during one treasure hunting mission he was ambushed by a large number of alien universe venerables. Yet, he slaughtered over 6,000 of them single-handedly, gaining instant fame and shocking the universe. That battle firmly established his reputation as a universe master. After his combat power reached the level of Universe Master, Luo Feng not only declared himself Lord of Milky Way but also announced that he would permanently reside in the Milky Way, with intentions that were all too clear. In truth, even before becoming a universe venerable, Luo Feng had already obtained a token that granted entry to a contest for a supreme treasure where one nearly equal in value to a true god weapon. This token held immense significance for the human race. Luo Feng once tried to exchange it for the other half of Earth's ownership but was rejected, proving Earth's value far exceeded that of the token. After all, the token only represented a single chance to compete, with just one treasure up for grabs. In contrast, Earth had the endless potential to produce geniuses and powerful beings. Although the founder of the Huge Axe Dojo had used time reversal techniques to glimpse Earth's secrets, for many universe masters, understanding Earth's true value without first-hand experience was difficult. Moreover, when various powers initially sent their descendants to reproduce on Earth, these offspring didn't immediately show exceptional talent. Yet as time passed, their growth became astonishing. Within just 100,000 years, many world masters emerged, their talent far beyond the norm. If this trend continued, Earth would inevitably produce countless immortals in the future. This made many universe masters even more reluctant to give up the other half of Earth's ownership. Trading such a treasure for just a token seemed unworthy to them. Eventually, the Huge Axe Dojo founder decided to use Luo Feng's strength as the benchmark to determine Earth's ownership and end the dispute. However, they never anticipated that Luo Feng's rise would be so rapid, allowing him to attain the combat power of a universe master in such a short time, putting him on equal footing with them, with status equally matched. To honor the agreement, the Huge Axe Dojo founder decided to return the other half of Earth to Luo Feng. However, the universe masters, who were well aware of Earth's secrets, except for those from the Virtual Universe Company, all expressed their opposition. One universe master from the Universe Mercenary Alliance even publicly quarreled with the Primal Chaos City leader. After all, Earth's ability to continuously produce talent would not only strengthen humanity but also directly benefit their own factions. Yet the Primal Chaos City leader remained firm. He believed Earthlings were still part of humanity and that Earth's rise was humanity's rise. Moreover, given Luo Feng's nature, he would never betray the human race. Instead, he would selflessly contribute. Therefore, returning Earth to him was entirely appropriate. The Primal Chaos City leader even proposed selling the other half back to Luo Feng at the original price. However, many universe masters still firmly opposed it. They believed that Luo Feng was merely a domain master at the time, and the 50 billion mixed yuan units in compensation was already an astronomical amount. In fact, the typical wealth of a world master is only about 100 mixed yuan units, and even a marquee immortal usually possesses no more than 10 million. Yet Luo Feng, while only a world master, was granted as much as 50 million in assets. They considered this compensation a tremendous favor, and felt that Luo Feng should be content. However, as Luo Feng's strength advanced by leaps and bounds and Earth's value continued to reveal itself, transferring the remaining ownership at the original price was practically the same as giving it away for free. Naturally, they refused to compromise. Seeing the dispute going nowhere, the founder of the Huge Axe Dojo personally offered a top-tier supreme treasure in exchange for the other half of Earth's ownership, returning it to Luo Feng. As the only true god, his decision was final, and none dared raise further objection. Luo Feng was deeply grateful for the support of the Primal Chaos City leader and the Huge Axe Dojo founder, and felt especially indebted to the latter. He knew that giving up such a peerless treasure solely on his behalf was an extraordinary gesture of deep devotion and profound duty. In truth, when it came to wealth, there was likely no one present who could match the number of treasures under Luo Feng's control. So, have you ever wondered, could Luo Feng have quietly taken Earth and put it into his internal world, then gone into seclusion on a remote planet in the depths of the universe? After all, Luo Feng possessed a Masha clan clone. If he used the Masha clan to disguise himself as a foreign race or alien powerhouse and secretly transported Earth away, then with his exceptional disguise abilities, even universe venerables would find it difficult to detect any flaws. In this way, Luo Feng could gain complete control over Earth while still cultivating and growing under his human form within the Virtual Universe Company. Once he and the Golden Horned Beast had grown strong enough, returning Earth to the solar system would pose no difficulty. However, such an act would entail considerable risk. Don't forget, back when Luo Feng was only at the universe level, the Primal Chaos City leader had already deduced that he had clones by discovering his life core. If the city leader inferred from this that Luo Feng might use a clone to move Earth, Luo Feng could very well be forced to choose between his status as a core member of the Virtual Universe Company and his ownership of Earth. More critically, if Earth were separated from the solar system, Luo Feng would face the risk of Earth losing its unique properties and becoming an ordinary planet. One must know that the one known as the Sitting Mountain Guest had not only transformed Earth, but the entire solar system. He had shaped the solar system into a form resembling an extraordinarily complex formation, with Earth at its very core. Once separated from the core of the formation, Earth will no longer possess the miraculous effect of nurturing geniuses and promoting soul evolution, and its true value will be lost as a result. Especially for the people of Earth, if they lose this unique mental advantage, their path of cultivation will become even more difficult due to their low life gene level. Even breaking through to the planetary level would become a distant dream. Therefore, if Luo Feng were to take control of Earth in this way, it might actually hinder the future development of Earth's civilization. In contrast, co-owning Earth with the Virtual Universe Company, for now, is the approach most beneficial to the rise of both the human race as a whole and the people of Earth. Well, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching this video. Wish you a wonderful day.